A special edition of the KOAM News at 10. We begin our coverage of local ceremonies tonight in southeast Kansas. Firefighters in Parsons gathered at Belmont Tower for a stair climb that honored the 343 firefighters who lost their lives on 9/11. KOAM's Mike Mahoney was there and has the story.
For firefighters in the Parsons, Kansas area, repeatedly climbing the 7 floors of Belmont Tower in honor of those who lost their lives on 9/11 was both tiring and inspiring.
Didn't know really how hard it was going to be or what to expect, but done and feel good, and feels pretty good knowing that you did it.
Throughout the morning, they climbed the tower's 7 floors 15 times before making one last trip to the 5th floor. That represents the 110 floors of the World Trade Center, but it wasn't the only reminder. As they made their trek, they were inspired to push forward by photos of the 343 firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifice on 9/11.
As it starts to become tiresome, I think that's where you start to use that for motivation, knowing that they didn't have another option. They didn't get to quit. They knew what they were getting into, and that was all what they signed up for.
As each firefighter completed the climb, they participated in the ringing of the fire bell, and then read aloud some of the names of the fallen first responders of September 11th, demonstrating that while those New York heroes may not be with us, they are not forgotten.
I would ask on this day that everybody remembers what it truly meant and never forget.
In Parsons, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Today's Memorial Stair Climb in Parsons also raised money for the Jed Head Memorial Scholarship Program. As we mentioned, a number of memorials took place across the country and right here in the 4 states. Another stair climb, this one in Ottawa County. Ottawa County firefighters gathered at NEO early this morning to honor those 343 first responders who lost their lives 20 years ago today. First responders, as well as others wanting to take part, simulated a stair climb similar to what the rescue teams went through with recovery efforts.
With the stair climb, we try to simulate what was done that day, the 2,071 steps that were in the Twin Towers. And we just try to take it as a remembrance for the 343 firefighters that were lost. Our brothers that day made an ultimate sacrifice, and we just try to honor them.
And to simulate the 2,071 steps, participants there went up and down the steps of Red Robertson Field 31 times, taking turns wearing heavy gear and carrying the flag. Pittsburgh State University held their own 9/11 tribute this morning at Carney Smith Stadium. Cadets took turns reading the names of the 2,977 killed in the attacks, including an additional 65 who died from injuries. They also fired a cannon 4 times, one for each plane that crashed.
We're going to fire the cannon to memorialize the when the towers were hit, and also the Pentagon getting hit, and then the crash of Flight 93 that the passengers so courageously took down to prevent more loss of life.
The Lieutenant Colonel says they take part in this every year to educate those on Pitt State's campus who may be too young to remember 9/11. Charlie 22 Outdoors, a veteran ministry with a mission to spread their word through the outdoors, hosted an event to remember 9/11 today. The day started with a ceremony honoring those lost, as well as a prayer and honoring the times that the planes crashed. Many veterans came out to their event as well to commemorate 20 years since America was attacked.
So we decided a year ago to make this a special day to honor those this morning that were lost that day, and to celebrate those this afternoon that answered the call, first responders and military both.
It's a day of our American history, and nobody needs to forget this day. This day should be not so much of a holiday like the 4th of July, but a day that we set aside to remember those that gave their lives.
Many veterans, a part of Charlie 22 Outdoors, said their anxiety was raised following events in Kabul, which is why the organization wanted to ensure they were shown appreciation at the event. 20 years after the September 11th attacks, the thousands of people that lost their lives that day are being honored at events across the country as well. CBS's Michael George is in New York with the memorial at Ground Zero.